I asked, and our guardians commented that Jesus indeed confronted Satan many times, especially after he fasted 40 days in the wilderness. Satan came telepathic to Jesus, pretending to be the Father. Satan offered the whole world, money and position to Jesus for Jesus to worship him. Jesus refused and confronted him, Satan. This meant that Jesus wouldn't be mistaken him, Satan, as the Father, and the Father Jesus worshipped, connected to, was different from those of existing religions in that period of time. In the channeling session on November 29, 1987, our guardians mentioned it too. Also, the Bible, Matthew and Luke, each had some depictions about the confrontation. April 9, 2025. Matthew chapter 4 verses 1 to 11. The temptation of Jesus. 4-1. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. 4-2. After he fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was famished. 4-3. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread." 4-4. But he answered, "It is written, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." 4-5. Then the devil took him to the holy city, had him stand on the highest point of the temple. 4-6. And said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and, with their hands they will lift you up, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." 4-7. Jesus said to him, "Once again it is written, you are not to put the Lord your God to the test." 4-8. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their grandeur. 4-9. And he said to him, "I will give you all these things if you throw yourself to the ground and worship me." 4-10. Then Jesus said to him, "Go away, Satan. For it is written, you are to worship the Lord your God and serve only him." 4-11. Then the devil left him, and angels came and began ministering to his needs. Quote channeling session script November 29, 1987. Quote: The teacher known to you as Jesus the Christ fasted often, wishing to achieve not a pure life so much as an altered state of consciousness wherein the physical entity dropped away from consciousness and a union with the Father became possible. Often, the Father came to the one known as Jesus in the form of what is known as the devil or Satan. Our guardians commented it meant Satan telepathic to Jesus pretending to be the Father, and they talked about Jesus confronting Satan later. Also, they can't say it plainly. Our guardians also commented, the Father should have the quote and quote in written as they were communicating to the channeling group, not by written words but by channeling. The meaning shows clearly in later context Satan pretended to be the Father. It showed in the Bible Matthew 2. I will give you all these things if you throw yourself to the ground and worship me. 4:10 Then Jesus said to him, Go away, Satan. This is because any attempt to be of excellent spiritual devotion alerts the attention of those who do not wish that such pure light shine within the world which negatively oriented entities believe is already their own. To the one known as Jesus, fasting was simply a means of altering the consciousness and building more and more the tested and sure bond this entity found with the Father, whose son he always felt that he was. It is not in fasting precisely that our recommendations lie, but rather in a shift of focus, an alteration in our use of vocabulary. For the one known as Jesus the Christ stated during one confrontation with that portion of the Creator known as Satan, that man does not live by bread alone, but rather from every word which falls from the mouth of the Creator. This entity was expressing a principle, and the entity's, Jesus, use of the word, when saying that man lives by every word of the Father, was intended to be that which we would call the logos or love. Our guardians commented, Satan offered the whole world, money and position to Jesus. Jesus refused and confronted Satan. There lives within each man and woman and child within creation the capacity for dwelling in realms of light, not only in those fragrant fields which await in larger life beyond the grave, but also and more importantly, at this time during this experience this involves a change of consciousness. Thus, we suggest that there is a food for which you hunger and for which you are starving. There is a drink which shall finally quench the thirst. This food and this drink is love, the Word, and you are seeking to become, as did the entity known as Jesus the Christ, the Son of Man, one who lives upon the word of love. The nature of physical existence is that of limitation and finite dimension. And those who seek that bread which no entity can have except by grace often become greedy and acquisitive, hoping to store up the love that made all of us, that source to which we shall return. Yet this heavenly manna, this word, this love cannot be stored, but rather can only be gathered one day at a time. Thus, the one who wishes to live and think and feel more purely must turn not once but each and every one of your days to the seeking of that heavenly food and that paradise drink, for love exists within the present moment. It is not a part of space, time in its fullest sense, but rather a part of time, that time being the time which is behind all illusion and which is infinitely and eternally the present moment.